We expect all our children not only to graduate from high school, but to graduate college and get a good paying job.
I know that some of you are sitting there right now thinking, I don't have a clue, not the foggiest idea of what I want to do with my life. That's okay. The truth is, finding your place in this world may be the single most difficult obstacle you'll ever face.
In the past 2 years, 3 people have suicided themselves off the top of this parking garage. If a miracle doesn't happen to me within the next year, then sadly I might be number 4 to suicide themselves off the top of this parking garage. I don't want to do that, but I'm so fucked right now. That's the only way I can escape from this shackle around my fucking neck. I need a fucking miracle. I wish I had magical powers to do this, just make it magically disappear, but I have no powers at this point. I'm fucked. My alma mater royally fucked me in the ass and stole a big part of my soul. But I have refused to let this defeat me and turn me into a victim. It's a goddamn miracle that I haven't suicided myself yet, actually, to be honest. I've dedicated the past 14 years of my life to returning the favor to Ohio State through filmmaking. And this documentary is the culmination of my self-taught filmmaking odyssey. This documentary is my only hope of finding the path of redemption from this predatory soul-fucking system. If this documentary doesn't lead me towards the salvation of my soul, then unfortunately suiciding myself is probably the only way I can escape from this student loan hell.
That's why we will provide the support necessary for all young Americans to complete college and meet a new goal. By 2020, America will once again have the highest proportion of college graduates in the world. That is a goal we can meet.
What do you think about Obama's mission to have the United States most college graduates by 2020?
I think it is one of the dumbest ideas I've ever heard.
I believe that this is precisely the moment that American higher education is needed. This economic upheaval, disquieting and difficult as it is, has loosened us from our moorings. It enables us to make substantial changes and to grow exponentially more effective in what we do at Ohio State. We must be willing to reimagine what higher education can and should look like in the coming century. And then we must have the courage and the confidence to chart an entirely new course, a wholly different path forward.
Today, millions of young people are attending colleges and universities in America. They are the pick of our coming generation. They are the future of our country. It is widely believed that if they are wisely and soundly taught, America will be great and happy. If they are misguided and mistaught, no power can save us. What is this so-called higher education of the United States? You have taken it, for the most part, on faith. It is something that has come to be big and impressive, and you are impressed. Every year you spend billions of dollars to maintain it. You take it for granted that this money is honestly and wisely spent, that the students are getting the best, the highest education that money can buy. Suppose I were to tell you that this educational machine has been stolen by a bandit crew of bureaucrats that have set it to work, not for your benefit, nor for the benefit of your sons and daughters, but for ends very far from these. Suppose I were to tell you that these millions of young people are being deliberately taught not wisdom, but folly, not justice, but greed, not love, but hate, not freedom, but slavery. Suppose I were to tell you that most of what I just said was taken verbatim from Upton Sinclair's book, The Goose Step, written in 1922. As it turns out, the persistent problems plaguing higher education in America today have been there since its inception. This bullshit game has always been rigged in favor of the ruling class and against us plebeians. In the past 30 years, the elitist bureaucrats in charge have taken this con job to unprecedented levels of idiocy and corruption. And only in the past decade has the general public started to open its eyes to this bullshit.
So, I do have a few things to say, and then we'll obviously have a chance to have a discussion. But I would have to say to you that we do not have the proverbial elephant in this room. We have an entire herd, and so that must be our starting point today, absolutely. It is surely as plain to you as it is to me that this is an especially honorary moment in higher education in our state and in our country.
We have this big elephant called college. And the American history and the American myth is that one goes to college. So there's a spectrum of stuff, but we've conflated it into this thing called college. So somewhere along the line, we became very confused and said, let's put all these young people in this place called college and say you have to have a 4-year degree. Now, that doesn't make sense for most of the population. It may be a great investment for some, but for the vast majority, it's not.